I've been using Godox flashes in my professional work for about 4.5 years now, so I thought now I've got myself a nice new Panasonic S5, I should also invest in a little flash to go with it. So that gave me the excuse to go for the latest model, as I own the Mark IIs for my Fujifilm system, and this then the V860 Mark III should be very interesting. There's a few little changes, so we'll see if I still love it as I have for these last 4.5 years. Anyway, let's check it out and just get on with this, because I want to hear from you afterwards in the comments below. Quick look at what's inside the box then. You've got a little blurb about the products, you've got the instruction manual, you've got the silica gel. Now you do get a power block, a USB-C cable, and this, which is new to me, didn't have this on the 2, and that's the charger, so the battery drops in there. But you're probably not as interested in all those bits as you are in the main event. Now before we actually crack open the flash, I do like the case. This time it comes with a belt loop and a fairly intricate system to it. It's got another little loop under there, and it's got this Velcro setup, so that should be nice and secure and easy to deal with, especially with the big fat belt that I use for my gear. It's also lined on the inside and very bright, so you can't miss it once you open it. And that flicks open. Actually, I didn't show you the stand that you also get, a typical stand with a little mounting point on the bottom. And the flash itself, modeling light is now on the front. We've got a TTL to manual switch on the side, and there's a little button you press there to pop the battery out. Now the battery is different to the previous model, which gave me brilliant battery life. This is a lot less, so we're going to see how we get on with that. It might still be fine for my use. If you're really dependent, always get spares. I've got spares for my Mark IIs on my Fujifilm, and that's absolutely fine. That slots in there. I think that's a good design. I'm happy with that actually. They've changed the locking system down here, and although it feels fairly flimsy, it's got a nice little button there, and in practice it seems okay. We might talk about that a bit later on after I've given this some more use. Now the back is similar to before. We can flick on there, we can reset here. I'm currently having a problem where resetting it brings the beep back, as you can see by that symbol there. Now if you go into the menu, you can get rid of that. Now in a party situation, the beep wouldn't bother me, doesn't bother me, but I generally prefer to have beeps off when I'm working, just in case I want to use this. Well, I would say more discreetly, but obviously if a flash goes off, it's not that discreet, but I know what I mean. That's just what I like. We've got the other options in there, so pause if you want to get anything else out of that. Let's get out of here, and we can naturally adjust the zoom. I'll have it in auto, and we've got a lock here, a flash tester here, and the other menu buttons and sync buttons there. Now the head, all importantly, and this is something I really liked with the previous model that's been slightly improved with this, you've got very, very good rotation, as you can appreciate there. I think that's 330 degrees that way, and this way you do get a bit there. I like to bounce flash most times, indoors all the time, and occasionally outdoors if I've got something to bounce off, and that is very handy. Now in portrait mode, it's much better. I don't have to flick the camera around to get the angle that I want. It's got that little bit extra, so that's also nice. Now because I'm used to the Mark II, for the most part this feels business as usual. For the most part, obviously there's certain things that aren't, but I never really used a modeling light before anyway. That might double up as a quick video light, we'll see, and if it does, we'll mention it. It's not really what I'm that interested in, but yeah, overall decent little package with the right gubbins and this very handy USB-C charging block. I don't think I can charge while it's on board. I don't think there's anything in there. There's a USB port in there actually, and there's another little socket there, or is that just to hold that? We'll look that up, but I don't think I can charge while it's on board. I think that's just for firmware updates. But yeah, cool. Let's see how we get on with it then. Having given this flash a good run through, I'm happy. It gets the job done hassle-free. Now, the battery is rated for 480 full power flashes, and with my typical use, I'd get up to 2,200 flashes per charge. So real world use for me is measuring for ambient light, then adding TTL, simple as that. For the crack though, I tested it around f5.6, f8, 1/60th ISO 800 in TTL mode to roughly replicate my usual power output, and then ran the battery down with the time-lapse function of my S5, and the thing soldiered on for 2,279 frames. Bit of a boring test, but yeah, I was more than confident to take it out into the field. 2,279 shots would cover me for a number of jobs on just one charge. I do love these batteries. Having used AA powered battery flashes for years, when I switched to the Mark II with its rechargeable battery, it was a revelation. This is rated for a little less, but it's still more than enough, and the recycle time is not bad. Power output and recycle times are the main areas I would really want to see upgraded. The Mark III has zero advantages on that front over the Mark IIs. Talking about future upgrades, I'd probably like to see a touchscreen to make moving around the menus faster if possible, with the wheel and button options there too. When we looked at the Mark II flashes, we spoke about attention to detail, and I think that's where they've really stepped up with this model, at least for my use. For example, the included USB-C charger is a much more convenient method of charging the battery. Then there's the loop on the case that makes it way more useful than the previous loop-free case. Another practical feature that I like is the rotating head, which now has 30 degrees more tilt. As a bounce flash shooter, this is a very welcome update. There are a few other updates that don't bother me at the moment but might be good for you, like the best channel scanning feature, the TTL manual switch on the side, and the modeling light on the front. Another bonus is I can use this flash along with my other Godox flashes in an off-camera flash setup using the trigger on my Fujifilm, or control my Mark II flashes using this flash on my S5. Brilliant. So at what, £193, it's an excellent flash unit, and it's very useful on my S5 for those occasions I want to use flash. In fairness, I'm in zero rush to change my 3 V860 Mark II flashes, and if you see them much cheaper and don't fancy the cost of the latest and the greatest, that V860 Mark II is still a cracking choice for a TTL flash gun. But what about you? As always, let us know in the comments if you've used the Mark III and how you feel about it. Until then, take it easy.